Have you ever wondered what actually goes through a woman's head when she finally realizes she's lost a good man for good? It's not always what you think. Welcome back to Female Mind Decode. If you're finding this helpful so far, go ahead and smash that like button for me. It really helps the channel. There is a specific moment in every person's life when the truth hits them. What they once had is gone. It didn't just vanish into thin air, and it wasn't some cruel twist of fate that took it away. Instead, they slowly let it slip through their fingers because they assumed it would be there forever. And let me tell you, when she finally knows she has lost you, something deep inside her shifts. It might not show on the outside right away, and she won't admit it immediately. But deep down, her pride can't hide the truth anymore. At first, she's going to play it cool. She'll act like she isn't bothered at all. She'll tell herself that your absence is no big deal and convince her friends that moving on is easy. She might even post photos looking happier than she's ever been. But don't be fooled by appearances. Sometimes the biggest smiles are just a mask for the heaviest realizations. When someone truly loses a person who cared for them, respected them, and valued them, the silence becomes impossible to ignore. But here is where it starts to get really interesting for her. Suddenly, the notifications stop. That consistent attention just disappears. All that energy you used to give her for free is no longer available. And just like that, the things she thought were ordinary start to feel incredibly rare. She begins to replay memories of things she used to completely overlook. She thinks about the way you checked in on her just to see how her day was going. She remembers the way you actually listened when she spoke, or how you noticed those tiny details that everyone else missed. She thinks about how you always showed up when it mattered. Back then, those things didn't seem like a big deal, because they happened every day. But now that they're gone, she's learning that absence has a very strange way of showing us what things are actually worth. Most people don't appreciate what they have until they no longer have access to it. Before we keep going, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss out on our next video. Now when she realizes you're truly gone, the comparison game begins. It's not even that she wants to do it. It's just that the human brain naturally compares the present to the past. She'll go out and meet new people. She'll talk to others, but something always feels a little off. Something is missing. The effort isn't quite as strong. The sincerity feels a bit fake. The connection just isn't there. That is the exact moment when reality starts to speak louder than her pride ever could. She starts to realize that what she thought was normal was actually very rare. A man who genuinely cares, stays consistent, and invests his time and energy is hard to find. It's so easy to underestimate those things until they are completely gone. And once they're gone, replacing them is much harder than she ever expected. But wait until you hear how the silence actually starts to change her. When she knows she's lost you, your silence starts to affect her more than your words ever did. See, people get used to having you around. They expect your presence. They rely on it. They just assume you'll always be there. But when that presence is gone, they have to face what life feels like without it. Her phone gets a lot quieter. Her days start to feel different. That emotional safety net she took for granted is suddenly missing. And that's when the questions start. What happened to him? Why did he stop reaching out? Why doesn't he react anymore? Why does he seem okay without me? These questions get louder every day. The thing that actually haunts people the most isn't just losing someone, it's the realization that the person they lost has finally found peace without them. There is a massive amount of power in a person who simply stops chasing. You aren't doing it because you're angry or because you want revenge. You're doing it because you finally understand your own worth. The very second you stop begging for attention is the second your value becomes visible. The moment you stop trying to force a conversation is the moment people notice you aren't there. When you stop trying to prove yourself, that's when others start wondering if they completely underestimated you. And trust me, when she knows she has lost you, she notices every single one of these changes. So which of these realizations surprised you the most? Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. She starts to notice that you're no longer just sitting there waiting for her. You've stopped trying to convince her of your worth, stopped explaining your feelings over and over, and stopped trying to earn a little corner in her life. You're simply moving on with your day, and honestly, that can be a really hard thing for someone to watch. See, people usually expect the version of you they've always known, the one who stays through everything, the one who forgives every single mistake, and the one who always comes running back. If you're nodding your head because you've been there, go ahead and smash that like button so I know I'm not alone here. But here is where things start to shift. Growth changes people in ways they don't expect. It teaches you that real love shouldn't mean you have to set your self-respect on fire just to keep someone else warm. It shows you that effort needs to be a two-way street if a relationship is ever going to survive. Most importantly, growth teaches you that your value doesn't go down just because one person failed to see it. When she finally sees that change in you, she begins to realize what she actually lost. It wasn't just your attention or your sweet messages, it was your genuine willingness to keep investing your heart in her. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. She can find attention anywhere. She can find validation or a quick distraction on any app or at any bar. But genuine care? That is incredibly rare. And once that's gone, it's usually impossible to just go out and find a replacement. Make sure to hit subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss our next video on how to keep that inner peace. Because as certainty disappears, her curiosity starts to grow. She might start checking your social media way more often than she used to. She isn't necessarily obsessed. She's just wondering if you're doing okay, if you've finally moved on, or if some other person is now getting the energy she used to take for granted every single day. Every sign that you're getting stronger without her creates a really messy mix of emotions inside her. It's part admiration, part deep regret, and part total disbelief. She honestly expected you to stay exactly where she left you, but life doesn't work like that. People heal, they evolve, and eventually the person who couldn't imagine a single day without her becomes the person who finally finds peace in being alone. That's when the loss feels real. It's not about the physical distance between you. It's about realizing you aren't emotionally attached to that old story she's still holding on to. But here's the crazy part, the memories. They start coming back when she least expects them. It could be a song on the radio, a specific coffee shop you liked, an old photo, or just a random thought on an ordinary Tuesday. Suddenly she's reminded of everything she thought she had forever to appreciate. That's the thing about opportunities, they always look permanent until they're gone, and then they suddenly become priceless. She might never say it out loud, but she definitely has moments where she wonders what would have happened if she had just valued you differently while she had the chance. Hindsight gives a kind of clarity that just wasn't available at the time. It highlights the mistakes that seemed small back then but ended up changing everything. But time only moves forward, never backward. One of the hardest truths people have to face is that some chances don't come back, not because you're being mean, but because your growth has led you down a brand new path. The person you become after finally finding your worth isn't the same person who accepted less than they deserved. The healed version of you is completely different from the version that was hurting. And when she finally knows she lost you, she understands the real tragedy. She didn't just lose your attention, she lost someone who truly wanted to give it to her. Which of these changes do you think she notices first? Drop a comment and let me know. You were the person who looked at all her flaws and decided to stick around anyway. You cared when it wasn't convenient, and you stayed when most people would have just walked out the door. But here's the thing, she doesn't always realize how rare that is right away. Sometimes it takes a few weeks, sometimes months, and honestly, sometimes it takes years. But eventually, the truth hits everyone. People finally start to value what they used to have, and they realize that things like loyalty, showing up every day, and actually caring are not things you can just find anywhere. They are gifts. And when those gifts are gone, that empty space becomes impossible to ignore. If you've ever felt that silence, or if this resonates with you, do me a favor and smash that like button right now. It really helps the channel out. See, when she finally knows she lost you, it's not just your face she misses. She misses the way you made her feel. She misses that feeling of being safe and sure. She misses your energy and the version of her life where someone actually believed in her, even when they didn't have to. But here's the part that changes everything. By the time she finally gets it, you're already miles ahead. You didn't stop caring overnight, and you didn't just forget the memories. It's just that healing taught you how to carry your past without letting it trap you. Every single day you spend working on yourself, something inside you shifts. Every lesson makes you stronger, and every time you were let down, it taught you exactly what you deserve. Spending time alone shows you parts of yourself you never knew were there. And while she's just starting to see what she lost, you're finally seeing what you gained. You gained a clear head, self-respect, and most importantly, peace. You finally understand that your value was never about whether she could see it or not. By the way, if you want more videos like this to help you stay on track, hit subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss our next upload. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Once you truly know what you're worth, you stop trying to bargain for it. You stop asking for things that should be given for free. You stop chasing people who are running away, and you stop hurting yourself just to keep a one-sided connection alive. When she sees this new version of you, it hits her differently. She notices how confident you are now. She sees how calm you've become. She sees that you don't react to things the way you used to. The stuff that used to mess with your head or break your heart just doesn't have that power over you anymore. You're standing taller, you're talking differently, and you're living a whole new life. This transformation forces her to face a very uncomfortable truth. The version of you she lost is gone forever. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually too. You've evolved. You aren't the person who waits around anymore. You aren't the person who accepts being confused. And you can't just undo growth like that. Sometimes she'll try to reach back out, but it's usually not direct. It might be a quick text, a like on a post, or a random conversation that seems totally normal on the surface. But deep down, she's asking the questions she's too scared to say out loud. Do I still matter? Is there still a spot for me? Has he really moved on? Humans are naturally curious about stories that didn't have a proper ending, especially when they know they were the ones who closed the book. She might even be replaying every single old conversation in her head right now, wondering where it all went wrong. But wait until you see how she reacts when she realizes you're truly gone for good. Think about this. What if the very things she used to complain about are now the only things she wishes she still had? If this is hitting home for you, drop a yes in the comments or hit that like button to let me know. She starts thinking back to all those times you just wanted to be understood. You tried so hard to talk things through and fight for what you had, while she just sat there feeling unsure. But here's the thing, hindsight changes everything. What used to feel like you were doing too much now looks like you were the only one being real. All those little things she took for granted suddenly seem so much more meaningful now that they're gone. It's funny how loss works, right? It's like a giant magnifying glass that makes every good memory look sharper and every sacrifice you made stand out. All those moments she ignored, now she can't stop thinking about them. But here's the crazy part. While she's stuck in the past, you're already miles ahead. You're out there building a brand new life, and honestly, that's what probably stings her the most. It's not just that you're gone, it's that the world kept spinning without her in it. People always assume they'll have a permanent VIP pass to your heart. They think they can just walk away and come back whenever they feel like it, and you'll still be waiting right where they left you. But life doesn't have a pause button. You didn't need her permission to start healing, and you definitely didn't need her approval to grow into a better version of yourself. Before we get into how she's going to react when she sees the new you, make sure to hit subscribe and tap that bell so you never miss a video. Then one day, she's going to look at you and realize something shocking. You are actually genuinely happy. You aren't putting on a show for social media or trying to prove a point. You're just good. You're laughing more, you're not stressed out anymore, and you walk with a sense of purpose that wasn't there before. You look lighter, more grounded, and way more focused. That's when the light bulb finally goes off for her. She realizes you didn't need her to be a whole person. You only ever needed yourself. That realization is a tough pill to swallow because so many people think love is just about being dependent on someone. They think that being needed is the same thing as being valued. Now, this is where it gets really interesting because it completely flips the script on what she thought she knew about you. True value is something else entirely. It's what remains when you are strong enough to walk away and choose yourself. She's starting to see your strength in a way she never did before. She used to think strength was staying no matter what, but now she sees that the real strength was leaving when your self-respect was on the line. It wasn't about having endless patience, it was about realizing that her taking your patience for granted was actually a sign of weakness. You finally learned that real love shouldn't feel like a constant sales pitch or a struggle to be seen. Once you learn that lesson, everything changes. You stop trying to earn someone's affection and stop trying to prove your worth to someone who's blind to it. You stop making yourself small just to fit into her world of uncertainty. That's why your absence feels so heavy to her right now. You didn't walk away because you were angry or bitter. You walked away because you grew. There's a massive difference there. Bitterness is about getting even, but growth is about finding peace. Bitterness wants the other person to suffer, while growth just wants to be free. Bitterness stays stuck in the past, while growth learns the lesson and keeps moving forward. People can feel that shift. They can see the change in your eyes and the way you carry yourself. And when she finally accepts that she's lost you, the regret is going to hit her at the weirdest times. It'll happen late at night when the house is quiet, or on a random Tuesday morning when she's just going about her day. Suddenly, it all becomes crystal clear. All that attention she used to brush off? That's exactly what she's craving now. That loyalty she used to question? That's what she's out there searching for in everyone else. The consistency she once overlooked is now the one thing she can't seem to find anywhere else. Isn't it funny how life only teaches us the value of things through contrast? You don't really appreciate the warmth until you've felt the freezing cold. You don't always value a bit of peace until you've lived through total chaos. You don't understand loyalty until you've been betrayed, and you definitely don't see someone's worth until they aren't around anymore. That doesn't make her a bad person, it just makes her human. We all learn through what we go through. We learn from the fallout and the consequences of our choices. Sometimes losing something is the only teacher that can show you what words never could. If you're enjoying this so far, smash that like button real quick. The most powerful part of all this is that you don't even need her to realize any of this to feel good about yourself anymore. There was a time when you were dying for her to understand. You wanted her to see your value and appreciate all the effort you put in. You wanted to be seen, to be reassured, and to have proof that everything you invested actually meant something. But as you grow, that mindset changes. Now you understand something much deeper. Your value was always there, whether she saw it or not. Your hard work mattered even if she didn't say thank you. Your character stayed strong even when she didn't acknowledge it. But here is where things start to get really interesting. Worth isn't something that's created by someone else giving you a thumbs up. It's something you discover inside yourself. And once that truth really sinks in, something amazing happens. You become free. You're free from constantly looking for validation, free from chasing after people, and free from needing anyone else to tell you that you're important. That freedom is attractive not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because it changes who you are. It lets you focus on who you're becoming instead of trying to prove yourself. It lets you put your energy into your future instead of your frustration. Hit subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. You start to build a life that isn't tied to what other people choose, and that's usually when she notices the biggest shift. You aren't trying to be chosen anymore. You've chosen yourself. There is so much power in that, because people who choose themselves just give off a different energy. They walk differently, they think differently. They have a quiet confidence that you just can't fake, a confidence that comes from surviving letdowns, beating heartbreak, and finding a strength you never knew you had. But you won't believe what happens when she finally sees this new version of you. When she sees that confidence, it's a constant reminder of what she lost. It's not because you became perfect or suddenly became a celebrity. It's because you became the best version of yourself. You're the one who grew through the pain and no longer needs permission to be valuable. That thought sticks with her. It follows her during her late-night thoughts and comes up in her conversations. It hits her whenever she meets someone who reminds her of you, because real connections leave a mark that time can't easily wipe away. People forget details and dates, but they never forget how you made them feel. And that is probably what stays with her the longest. The feeling of being understood by someone who truly wanted the best for her. Those feelings don't just go away. They stay in the background, quietly reminding her of what she once had. Meanwhile, your journey continues. You keep building, you keep growing, and you keep learning. You're becoming tougher than you ever thought possible, and the person you used to be is starting to look like a complete stranger. Every step you take forward is a step away from the pain that used to define you. That hurt that once dominated your every thought? It's turned into a powerful lesson. The heartbreak that used to drain all your energy has become real wisdom. Even the disappointment that once made you feel weak is now the fuel driving you toward a better life. Pretty soon, you'll look back and realize that losing her wasn't the end of your story, it was actually the start of a massive transformation you never would have experienced otherwise. This change taught you how to be resilient, how to be patient, and how to finally respect yourself. It revealed an incredible strength that had been hidden inside you all along. If you're feeling that strength building up right now, smash that like button to show you're moving forward. But here is the crazy part. While she might still be thinking about exactly what she lost, you are busy discovering everything you've actually gained. You've got a stronger mindset, a much clearer vision for your future, and a deeper understanding of who you really are. You finally know what you're worth. And the biggest lesson of all? You've realized that the right people will never ask you to abandon yourself just to keep them in your life. They won't make you feel like you have to prove your love every single day, and they won't leave you questioning your value. They will see your effort, appreciate you being there, and match your energy with their own. Healthy connections are built on mutual respect and mutual effort, not one person carrying the whole weight while the other just watches. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Once you understand that truth, you can never go back to the version of yourself that accepted less than what your heart deserved. Your standards have changed, and your understanding of a real connection has become way too deep to ignore. Before we finish, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next step of this journey. That is exactly why your story is changing. There was a time when your happiness depended entirely on her choices. One message could make your day, or one cold response could totally ruin your mood. Your whole world revolved around what she did or didn't do. But eventually, something shifted. You got tired of giving all your power away and letting someone else's actions decide if you were at peace. You stopped carrying expectations that were never being met. Little by little, you started taking your power back. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened one decision and one difficult day at a time. You learned how to sit alone without feeling lonely and how to enjoy your own company. You built a life that didn't depend on attention from someone else. That kind of growth is impossible to fake. People can pretend to be confident or happy, but genuine inner peace always reveals itself. Which part of this surprised you most? Drop it in the comments and share this with someone who needs it. You've earned this peace, and you're never letting it